Hello, this is Forest of Oak, Lesson 8, The Elements, Fire and Water, and Bone Magic. The elements are the original foundation of all corporeal things, of which all other things are made by unification or transformation. The ancients divided the world into 4 basic elements, which we know as earth, fire, air, and water. These 4 elements are vital to our survival, for without any one of them we could not exist. Fire. Fire is a little different from the other 3 elements, as it cannot be physically touched without causing injury. It naturally exists in our sun, but must be created here on earth, and so it can be said that it doesn't have a natural home. We need the element of fire to grow and cook our food and to keep us warm in winter. Fire is the element of action, passion, transmutation, and change. Fire rules all forms of magic because magic is the process of change, but fire is destructive and will consume and destroy before change can happen. Passion, the sacred fire of sex, the spark of divinity which shines within all living things, are associated with the element of fire. This element also rules transformation, will, fear, anger, power, jealousy, purification, energy, strength, power, achievement, life, and ecstatic dance. Fire also rules physical things and places such as blood, sap, deserts, volcanoes, the sun, and fires of all varieties, from a simple candle flame to an eruption or explosion. The place of fire in most witchcraft traditions is in the south of the ritual circle. It is associated with midday and the height of summer. You will probably find a candle on an altar to represent the element of fire. Early man would probably have only encountered fire when something was struck by lightning, and so it'd be fair to say that they would have thought it was something magical sent to them from the heavens. We now use it as a spiritual focus, whether that is a hearth fire or a ritual flame. Here are a few of my own fire correspondences. Gender masculine, animals, dragon, lion, bee, phoenix, coyote, fox, lizard, snake, cricket, praying mantis, shark, squirrel, porcupine, badger, fox, cat, bear, rabbit, hawk, and horse. Colour: black, orange, red, white, and yellow. Direction: south. Divination: candle and fire scrying. Energy: projective. Time: noon. Magic: candle, burning, manifesting, burn petitions, scrying, burning herbs, fire, light, heat. Magical tool: athame, sometimes the wand. Musical instrument: guitar, string instruments. Symbols: flames or lava. Places: deserts, volcanoes, gyms, ovens, fireplaces, hot springs, bedrooms, gym, locker room, sauna, athletic field. For spell work, rituals, positive qualities: courage, change, energy, protection, strength, passion, personal power, ingenuity, manifesting, willpower, bravery, beginnings, drive, action, death and rebirth, movement and ideas, change, sensuality, purification, breaking bad habits, authority, banishing, transformation, negativity, sex, authority, speed, creativity, destruction, cleansing, force, motion, anger, desire, work, and freedom. Negatives: anger, jealousy, stubbornness, greed, arrogance, resentment, possessiveness, cruelty, and violence. Season is the summer, spirits are salamanders, and the zodiac, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Tarot is the suit of wands, pentagram position is the lower right, and the archangel is Michael. Fire can be used in spell work to burn petitions, to scry, for burning herbs, and of course to provide heat for nighttime rituals. Please, I know I really don't need to say this, but if you're in the woods or a forest area, check that you're allowed to start a fire. A lot of places don't give permission for obvious reasons. If you are given the go-ahead, make sure you take the proper precautions and don't let it get out of hand. A fire in the woods or grassy fields can cause a huge amount of damage, not only to the land and plants, but also to the animals that live there. Scrying with flames is great fun. You don't have to use a bonfire, campfire, or fireplace. You can just use a candle, but you get brilliant images with a full set of flames. Be mindful that fire is a fickle thing, and it does like to play games with your mind, though. You don't need anything special to scry with flames other than flames. Once the fire is going nicely, sit back, relax, ground yourself, gaze into the flames. Watch for any symbols that you might see, not just in the flames, but also in the glowing embers and the smoke. Also, listen carefully, because sometimes the fire may speak to you. You might get very clear images or even hear words, but equally you may just get flashes of images, symbols, or sounds that you will need to translate. If you have some herbs to hand, you can throw them onto the fire to get some interesting shapes and smoke. Try using the woody herbs. If you have a back garden, you can use a fire pit or chimney very successfully for fire magic. However, if your space is limited, you can work with a cast iron cauldron or a fireproof dish. Simple workings can be done by using small slips of paper. If you want to get rid of a bad habit, then write it down on a piece of paper and throw that into the fire. You might also like to create a chant to go with it or add in some corresponding herbs. Similarly, if you're having a run of bad luck, you can write that down on the paper and burn it. Gossip can be stopped by writing the rumours on paper and throwing them into the flames. The elemental you. Most of us will find that we're aligned more with one element than another. This may be affected by the zodiac sign we were born under. It may also be because of the work we do or the life that we lead. Every mundane task carries a correspondence to one of the elements. The challenge is to create balance in ourselves between all four elements. You might like to make a list to see which element you are heavy in and which ones you may need to work a little more with to bring about balance. Let's look at the everyday element of fire-related tasks. Cooking. Creativity, that's art, baking, crafting or designing. Decluttering. Music, listening or playing an instrument. Dancing, professional or just good old dad dancing. Driving a vehicle, sunbathing, lighting a fire, turning on the heating, turning on a light switch, plugging in an electrical device, that's a phone charger or hairdryer, etc. Workout and physical exercise, working at your computer, using your mobile phone. Fire energy. As we work with the positive and negative, sun and moon, masculine and feminine, energy too has opposites. Those are receptive and projective. The flow of energy for fire is projective. Projective energy is described as being masculine. It is heat, the summer, activity, outward, physical, and brings light. Projective energy is good for strength, healing, protection, vitality, courage, power, determination, willpower, self confidence, luck, and success. We can connect with the element of fire in many ways. The obvious ones are practical, such as lighting a fire or candles, but there are also magical ways to connect as well. Many are suggested within this lesson, such as working with candle magic and raising energy. There are mundane chores that also connect us to the element of fire, such as cooking or creating in your kitchen. Mother Earth is very happy to lend you the energy you need. All you must do is draw it from her and channel it to where you want to go. Please don't draw the energy from within yourself. Obviously, this can be extremely draining and cause you to become very tired or even poorly. Use your body as a channel for the energy. Fire representations. If you want to represent fire on your altar, in ritual or for spell work, there are several items you can use. A candle is perhaps one of the most obvious. Matches or a lighter, chilies or black pepper, ash, a little dish filled with fire ash, crystals, lots of crystals associated with the element of fire. See the crystal reference in the lesson PDF. Charcoal disc, makes sense to me that this could represent fire. Lantern, an oil lantern or one that holds a candle. Lamp, could be just a simple table lamp or a fancy one. Horseshoe or iron nails. Bone magic. In the old days, bones and animal parts were widely used for magical purposes. People were hunters. They used all the parts of an animal primarily for food and warmth, and the bones for magic. Now, I do not advocate anyone popping out and hitting a badger over the head with a stick just to use the bones in a spell. However, nature itself provides dead animals and birds, and man and his motor car supplies a lot too. Picking up roadkill may sound a bit yucky, and it's not for everyone or the faint-hearted, but I think of it as honouring the animal, that its skin and bones should be put to some good use after it has passed away. The bones themselves are a good way of connecting with the spirit of the animal and working with those energies. I have a magpie skull on my altar, as magpie is one of my animal totems. I put it on my altar in honour of the spirit. The bone of the animal works as a vessel for the spirit to reside within our realm. Animal bones can also be carried in medicine bags to utilise their particular energies. All animal spirits take time to bond with, so don't rush it. And it is also a nice idea to leave offerings for the animal bones you have found. You can wear the bones to take on the attributes and power of the animal that they belong to. A lot of animals are shamanic in nature, enabling you to tap into their ability to travel between worlds. Feathers, animal skins, or bones can be used in shape-shifting. The skins can be worn, and the feathers or bones used as jewellery to aid you in taking on the form of the animal. Ritual tools can also be made from animal bones, rattles for instance, or tie bones to your staff or wand for an added energy boost. Don't waste the bones from your Sunday dinner either. Chicken bones especially make really good divination sets and the bones can be used in your magical work. Keep an eye out when you're walking through the woods and fields, because you do occasionally find small animal bones. I have one that I believe to be from a rabbit. Antlers that have been naturally shed also make wonderful magical tools. Also, don't forget about insects. They have bones, they just wear them on the outside. Watch for dead insects that can be used in magical workings. Please make sure they are dead first. Bone folklore. There is some fascinating folklore about using bones for magic. Here are some. Carry the jawbone of a donkey in your teeth whilst walking backwards. This would cure a toothache, although I'm pretty sure it would cause a toothache rather than cure one. Bite down on a white button made from bone to cure a headache or a toothache. Carry a bone from a hog's head in your pocket to prevent headaches. Hang the bones of a turkey vulture around your neck to prevent headaches. Powdered eagle bones are useful to cure headaches. It's a bit of a theme going on here. Rub a dry bone over a wart, then throw the bone away without looking back to get rid of the wart. To remove a birthmark, visit a cemetery before sunrise. Find a human bone and rub this 3 times on your birthmark while saying the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. To cure a tumour or abscess, take a human bone from a cemetery and rub it over the abscess or tumour, then bury the bone under a waterspout of a roof where the sun or moon cannot shine upon it. Pulling the turkey wishbone is lucky for the one who gets the larger part, and they should place it over the kitchen door or in the closet for luck. Put a wishbone over your door on New Year's Day, and the first person to enter the house would be your friend that year. A charm made from the breastbones of kingfishers and jays with small holy stones keep away evil spirits. Carry in the jaw or breastbone of a tree toad will bring you luck. Keep a turtle bone in your pocket for good luck. Carrying a bone from the body of a boiled black cat will make the carrier invisible. And it goes without saying that you are not allowed to remove human bones from graveyards or kill eagles or boil black cats, just in case you thought about it. Cleaning bones. If you want to work with the bones from a roadkill animal, there are various ways of cleaning them for use. Do a search on Google for tutorials, but the basics are: clean as much of the flesh from the bones as you can. Then the bones can be cleaned either by popping them in a jar with fresh water, putting the lid on, then leaving it for 2 or 3 days, changing the water for fresh. Keep doing this until all the flesh has come away from the bones. You can also do the same thing using biological washing powder and warm water. You can drop the bones into a dish or jar and very carefully pour over a solution of hydrogen peroxide. The chemist has this, or failing that, purchase hair bleach, which is what was used on the magpie skull. Not only does this take the last bits of flesh away from the bone, it also bleaches it to a nice colour. Or you can bury it. Dig a shallow hole in the soil, bury the bones so that Mother Nature's worms and insects can do the cleaning job for you. This takes patience, and you also need to remember where you buried it. Red bones. Some cultures have taken to colouring bones with the colour red to create the image of blood and the life energy within them. You can do this fairly easily. Mix red wine and red ochre together to make a paste and leave it to sit covered in a bowl for a couple of days. If you can't get red ochre, you can use red brick dust. Apply the paste to the clean bones, making sure to cover them completely. Wrap the items in plastic to keep the paste moist and leave for a further 24 hours. If the paste looks like it's drying out, give it a spray with water. Remove the paste and allow the bones to dry. You may need to use a soft brush to remove any lingering paste. Don't wash the bones, but just wipe with a soft cloth. Blood and stuff. Now, this is a subject you will either find absolutely fascinating or you will skip quickly past this section, and either is totally okay. It is your pathway, your journey, and therefore your choice about what you include or don't. But here it is, just in case. Your body is the vessel that carries the magic, the energy, and the intent, but it is also very unique and individual to you. So if you want to add a personal touch to any working, you can literally add a bit of yourself into it or a bit of someone else. If you are working magic for someone else or that involves someone else, for instance, a healing poppet, you may want to add in something of theirs that will link the magical item to them. Let's suggest an easy option of a piece of hair or a nail clipping. The energy from the person will be in that very personal item collected from them. Hair is often used as a fairly easy to obtain and perhaps less intrusive than some of the other items. It can be also used like string or twine and work as a binding. Nail clippings are another traditional item used in magic, even if may involve rooting around in the bathroom waste bin to find what you need. I don't personally think they are quite as powerful as hair, but they do work well. Menstrual blood is an ancient and magical fluid, and although obviously only obtainable from women of a certain age, it carries an immense amount of power. This bodily fluid brings power, protection, love, passion, sexuality, fertility, and lunar magic. You can add menstrual blood to most magical workings to link in yourself or a particular person. It can also be used in love magic to bind someone to you, but think very carefully about whether you really want to go down that route. Menstrual blood can also be used to anoint your magical and divination tools to give them a strong connection to you. To bring fertility, bury a terracotta pot containing menstrual blood at the foot of a fertile tree and request blessings of the fertility kind from the tree. Ask nicely and remember to compliment the tree on how wonderful it looks. Blood can be obtained by pricking your finger or someone else's, but please make sure you use a sterilised pin. Saliva, or good old spit. There is a reason why spitting is so rude, other than that it is quite a revolting habit, but saliva is actually thought to be quite controlling. It also brings the magical properties of protection and the ability to dispel negative spirits. Spit in the direction of a perceived threat to dispel negative energy. If you don't know what direction it is coming from, spit over your left shoulder. On the positive side, spit is also considered lucky and can transmit your will and intent. Spit on betting tickets or lottery cards to bring good fortune. Sexual fluids from both males and females can be used in much the same way as menstrual blood, although they have a more vulnerable magic to them. Female fluids have very strong fertility and life power magic, and male fluid is believed to have very good healing properties. Sweat. Although I'm not sure how easy it is to collect droplets, you can wipe a cloth across a sweaty brow or armpit, and this can be used in sex and love magic quite successfully, although it does have a more masculine energy. Urine. Historically, one of the most common ingredients found in witch bottles that were buried in walls and chimneys of old houses, funnily enough, originally used to protect against witches. Your pee is obviously very personal to you and can be used in protection, territory, and domination magic. We now move on to water. In many myths and legends, life first evolved from the primordial waters. We use this element every day to quench our thirst and to cleanse our bodies. A large proportion of our bodies is made up of this element, which is governed by the moon. Water is the element of the depths of emotion and all of the subconscious. Water rules purification, the unknown, love, and all other emotions. Water is associated with absorption and germination, and also pleasure, friendship, marriage, fertility, love, happiness, healing, sleep, dreaming, cleansing, and psychic acts. Water rules physical things and places such as the womb, the unconscious mind, and any type of water source, from the largest oceans to the morning dew. The place of water in the ritual circle is in the west, the place of death and transitions. The time of twilight and autumn is associated with water, as these are mysterious times. You might find a cup or bowl of water on a witch's altar, but other representations may be a cauldron or shells. Our ancestors saw water as sacred and would give offerings at springs and other natural water sources. We carry on this tradition when we throw coins into fountains to make a wish. If you live near the sea or a river, then for water, take a stroll along the water's edge. If the weather is good, you might even like to take a swim. If you aren't near natural water, then take a long bath or go to the local swimming pool. And if it rains, go and stand outside in it, get soaking wet, and relish every moment of it. Here are a few of the water correspondences. Gender feminine, animals, fish, frog, turtle, dolphin, whale, otter, seal, heron. Colour, blue, grey, green, white and black. Direction, west. Divination, mirror scrying, dowsing, pendulum. Energy is receptive. Time is dusk. Magic, dream, mirror, divination, magnet, love, lucid dreaming, cleansing and protection. Symbols, water droplet, waves, triskele. Magical tool, chalice, cauldron, mirror. Magical musical instrument, cymbal, bell, singing bowl. Places, lakes, springs, oceans, beaches, health spas, bathrooms, fountains, waterfalls, wells, and of course the rain. Spell work or rituals, positive qualities, purification, love, relationships, dreams, peace, compassion, emotions, nurturing, death, psychic abilities, sexuality, trust, fear, flowing, healing, soothing, cleansing, psychic abilities, intuition, dreams, friendship, compassion, sadness, rest, and rebirth. Negative qualities, fear, jealousy, hatred, deceit, sorrow, spite, treachery. Season is autumn. Spirits are the undines, the mermaids, the nymphs, and the sirens. Zodiac, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Tarot is the suit of cups. Pentagram position is top left, and the archangel is Gabriel. A bit obvious, I know, but rivers, lakes, and oceans are all made up from the element of water, which is a huge powerhouse of nature. Never underestimate the power of the ocean. I love nothing more than retreating to the shores of the ocean to release any worries and issues and come home refreshed and renewed. Rainwater can be collected in your garden, in pots and buckets, and water collected from wells is often classed as sacred. Water from the ocean is obviously already imbued with salt, so it packs an extra cleansing and purifying bunch of energy. If you don't have access to a river or the ocean, then collect rainwater, use the tap in your kitchen, or take a bath. Asperging is a term used in magic, and basically it means sprinkling liquid, usually water or water with added herbs and oils, in order to achieve magical or spiritual cleansing. You can use water sprinkled on tools or herbs, but also to cleanse an area ready for ritual or magical workings. The elemental you. Most of us will find that we're aligned more with one element than another, and this can be affected by your zodiac sign that you were born under, or it may be because of the work that you do or the life that you lead. Every mundane task carries a correspondence to one of the elements, and the challenge is to create balance in ourselves between all four of the elements. You might like to make a list to see which element you are heavy in and which ones you might need to work a little more with to bring about balance. And let's look at the everyday element of water-related tasks. Showering, bathing, swimming, washing the dishes, doing the laundry, crying, watering the plants, cleaning the bathroom, drinking, cold or hot in tea or coffee, etc., washing produce, washing the dog or cat or another pet, cooking, poaching, boiling or steaming, making or using ice cubes, flushing the toilet, and brushing your teeth. Water energy. As we work with the positive and negative, the sun and the moon, masculine and feminine, energy too has opposites. Those are receptive and projective. The flow of water for the element of water is receptive. Receptive energy is also described as being feminine, soothing, passive, spiritual, calming, cold, attracting, and magnetic. Receptive energy is good for absorbing negative energy and feelings, but also good for meditation, grounding, and psychic abilities. We can connect with water on a daily basis in very easy ways, the obvious being turning on a tap. There are also many magical ways to connect with the element of water too, such as using your intuition, along with all the mundane water element chores, such as cleaning the toilet. Water representations. If you want to represent water on your altar in spirit, ritual, or for spell work, there are several items you can use. A bowl of water is perhaps an obvious one. It's simple, but it's effective. You can use a shell, a pebble from the ocean or a riverbed, a Triskeli symbol, a spiral, the Vesica Pisces, the Arwen. A cauldron is representative of a feminine and water, also very useful. A chalice, representative of the feminine and water. Rivers, lakes, ponds, and more. Rivers, lakes, ponds, seas, oceans, and any names for large bodies of water, and all with immense magical powers. Water is a necessity of life. Never underestimate its power. Rivers and streams have the ability to flow. They bring movement, so they are brilliant for removing or getting rid of things, whether it is spell work that focuses on removing or dispelling, or whether you just want the water to carry your spell away to do its thing. Please remember not to drop anything into the water system that won't safely degrade, not plastics or any chemicals, please. The oceans and seas work well because of the power they have and the fact that they are built in cleansing and purifying properties because they are salt water. Ponds and lakes are slightly different because they don't tend to move much. They don't usually have waves and they don't flow like rivers, but they still hold the natural magic of water. Water, the magic. Although water in general has the same magical properties no matter what source it comes from, You can be more specific with the uses if you prefer. Here are some suggestions for magical properties depending on the body of water used. Dew, beauty, health and sight. Fog, balance, creativity, partnerships and hidden secrets. Rivers, cleansing, protection, direction and moving forward. Streams, cleansing, purification, harmony and dispelling. Lakes and ponds, reflection, relaxation, peace and calm, contentment and inner work. Rain, cleansing, protection and energy. Ocean, manifesting, power, health, energy and purification. Springs, blessings, cleansings, protection, growth and abundance. Swamps and marshes are good for binding, banishing and hexing. Wells are good for wishes, healing, intuition and inspiration. Waterfalls, energy, power, prosperity and success. And snow and ice, transformation, creativity, balance and peace. You can work all sorts of spells using fresh water or salt water to bring the power of lakes, rivers and oceans to your magic. Collect fresh river or stream water if you can, otherwise bottled water works well, and if all else fails, use tap water. If you want to clean up the tap water and get rid of some of the impurities and chemicals, you can boil it first. If you've been lucky enough to collect fresh seawater, that works extremely well, but you can make your own salt water by adding salt to water. Yep, you got it. Rivers and oceans are perfect for washing away feelings, bad habits, and spell leftovers. Tipping old herbs left over from spell work into running water washes them away. You can write petitions on slips of paper and cast them into the ocean to allow the energy of water to work its magic. If you don't have access to a natural source of running water, you can substitute the tap in your kitchen to wash away spell work. If you need to get rid of something, then flushing it down the toilet works perfectly well, but please make sure that it is biodegradable. Sea cleansing. If you feel the need to really cleanse and purify and rid yourself of negative energy, then you can petition the spirit of the sea to help you out. You can address the pure spirit of the ocean or pick a water deity to assist you. Visit the seaside and take 6 roses with you. Stand with your feet just in from the water and one by one dip each rose into the seawater and then run it from your head down your body, your arms and your legs, stroking downwards, then throw each rose into the sea. Once you have done this with all 6 roses, walk deeper into the water. Up to your waist works well, but if you don't feel comfortable, just go in as far as you can go. Allow the waves to flow around your body 6 times, asking for cleansing and renewal as you do so. Then turn and walk out to the water. To consecrate, purify or charge an amulet with water energy, fill a bowl with water, either fresh or salt, depending on whether you want the power of fresh water or seawater. Hold your chosen amulet or tool above the bowl and visualize the ocean or river, whichever one you chose, swirling around the item. If the amulet or tool is water safe, i.e. that they won't be damaged, then dip it into the water, say your intent out loud, or even make up a chant. Magical water. Making magical water. Blessed, charged, or magical water, whatever you want to call it, is super simple to make. Blessed water can be used for all sorts of things, such as anointing yourself, candles or magical tools, consecrating and cleansing tools, adding to spell workings, ritual baths, or even to drink. Moon water. You start with water, unsurprisingly, And it is your choice whether you use filtered, spring, tap, or collected rainwater. If you're worried about using tap water and all the icky stuff that's supposed to be in it, you can boil it first and allow it to cool. Then you need to put it into a container, and I find that a glass jar works very well. At this point, if you feel the urge, you could charge and cleanse the water by holding your hand over the top and sending your intent into the water, or you could waft some sage or incense over the top instead. Then you need to place the jar in the light of the moon. You can put it outside, but I would put a lid on the jar. However, you can also sit it indoors on a windowsill. It just needs to be able to catch the light of the moon. The full moon works well for this, but you could put water out in each phase of the moon, and then you have different types for different spell workings. Sun water. Sun water can be made the same way, but obviously you put it in sunlight instead. Stormwater. Stormwater is an interesting one to make as well. Pop your jar of water outside or on the windowsill when there is a storm raging. It collects some powerful energy that you can then use when you need it. Snow water. Snow water can be made, and all you need to do is scoop up some clean snow. I don't need to remind you to not use yellow snow, and pop it in a jar and allow it to melt. Ghost water. Ghost water can be made by putting a jar of water on a grave overnight during a full moon and removing it before dawn. This can be used for hexing. Rainbow water. If you catch some of the rain that falls while the rainbow is visible, then this can be used as blessed water in magical workings to bring the power of the rainbow. Seining. Seining is a Scottish word and means a method of ritual cleansing and blessing. You will need a bottle of holy water collected from a local source, be that spring, river, or stream, but rainwater will work as well. Preferably collect during the dark hours and on a waxing moon. Use the water to sprinkle in the corners of each room in your home, or you can use it in ritual. Stand together in a circle. Each person takes a sip of the water, then sprinkles water on the person to their left and passes the water on. Collect rainwater during a full moon and use it to bathe your head and wash your hair to relieve stress and depression. Flower water. You can make magical water by infusing it with the power of flower blossoms. It then takes on the magical properties of the flower that you used. It is easy to make, but I would recommend using wildflowers or ones grown in your garden because you don't know what process bought flowers have been through. One method is to collect your flower petals, put them in a jar, cover with boiling water, and allow it to sit for a day or overnight and then strain. Use straight away. The remainder can be kept in the fridge for a short time. Another method is to use fresh flower petals and pour just enough water to cover them. Simmer gently in a pan until the petals become limp. Strain and allow to cool. Use within a day or two, keeping the liquid in the fridge. There follows on the lesson PDF a series of meditations. Each one has a link to a guided meditation within the lesson PDF as well. They are the fire elemental shape-shifting meditation. There is a bone cave meditation, a water elemental shape-shifting meditation, and a water meditation. Homework. Practice the fire elemental shape-shifting and report your experience. Spend a day immersing yourself in the element of fire and report your experience. And we mean a whole day. With this element, immerse yourself in it, not literally with fire, obviously. rediscover it, live with it. Report what activities you did, your thoughts and your feelings about this element, and whether you connect with it. Why and why not? Practice the bone cave meditation and report your experience. Research the animal you connected with in the meditation. 5. Create an altar to honour the animal. Design some artwork dedicated to this animal. Draw, paint, collage, whatever you feel drawn to do. 6. Practice the water elemental shapeshifting and report your experience. 7. Spend a day immersing yourself in the element of water. Report your experience, and we mean a whole day, with this element. Immerse yourself in it, rediscover it, live with it. Report what activities you did, your thoughts and feelings about this element, and whether you connect with it. Why or why not? Follow the instructions to consecrate, purify, or charge with water energy, and choose a magical item to practice on. Report what you did. What chant did you use for your intent? How did the item feel afterwards? 9. Practice the water meditation and report your experiences. 10. Take a ritual bath or shower. Fill it with oils, salts, petals, or whatever makes you feel special. Add a few drops of your magical water. Take time for yourself to relax and be pampered. Put some soothing music on. Light some candles. When you're ready to get out and you pull the plug, visualize all the negativity being washed away down the plug hole. How do you feel? Homework for each lesson should be emailed to your mentor, myself or Heather, support@kitchenwitchhearth.net. There is some further study, Rachel's YouTube channel and the blog on the elements.